Good morning, YouTube. This is Kyle, aka The Boss, aka Wisdom, and I'm going to share with you one of my deck profiles. If you are trying to enter into this year's 2018 Nats, here is a deck choice that some of you might not have thought would be effective, but it's just the contrary. This is a deck that is still relevant, very effective, and highly dangerous. I like to go over the True Draco Extra deck profile with you. I'll start with the spells. Of course, we have 3 terraformings, 2 scapegoats, 2 pot of dualities, the money card, 3 card of demise, 3 diagrams. Can't believe this card is still legal. 3 heritage, 3 phoenix, and that is the spells. On to the traps. About that trap life. 1 skill drain, 1 rivalry of warlords, 1 there can only be 1. For those of you who don't know these cards are completely different, but you can actually play them at the same time on the field. Rivalry of Warlords, of course, you can only have 1 type on the field at the same time, but there can only be 1. You can have multiple types on the field at the same time, but it can only be 1 of each type. You put both of these on the field at the same time, it could be very devastating. For decks that play multiple types, Rivalry is excellent. For decks that play the same types, like well, you know, like spellcasters or fairies, there can only be 1. It's very, very dangerous. Okay, 3 Apocalypse, 1 King's Return. Too bad you can't play more than that. 3 Evenly Matched, which is a devastating card in this format. And only play 1 Impertinence. I would play more than 1 if I had the space. Impertinence is a very good card. On to the monsters. 3 Amano Watso. I think I said that right. 1 Draco Fighter. 1 Majesty Maiden. 1 Ignis Heat. And 1 General. Now, in this particular build, these monsters are not as important as the monster that I'm going to show you next, but it's good to have each one and have the ability to have each one. A lot of people in the regular build are so used to playing multiple copies that it's hard for you to go down to 1 copy of each, but this is definitely the monster lineup that you want for this particular deck. And we play 3 of the winning condition. This card is exactly what you want. This is Metaltron. Now, the cool thing about Metaltron is once this card is destroyed, it has a graveyard effect where it can bring out an extra deck monster. Now, good thing about this card is a win condition. You sacrifice 3 trap, spell, or monster, and you can bring this out. Now, a lot of people thought that this card was very hard to bring out until they actually start playing with it. You actually play a lot of continuous traps and spells, and you can actually bring them out first turn. The reason why I play 2 is because if he's in hand, you don't have to search for him, and there are a lot of hand traps out there, and you're not going to always have a Moto. So this is a very good card to just open up with if you're playing a deck that thrives on spells, or you're playing a deck that thrives on monsters. They really can't get over this. And if for some reason they figure out a way to get over this, usually they have to go minus, sacrifice their field, and then you bring out your extra deck monsters. Now we're going to go on to the extra deck. But first, let's go to the side deck. And I play 3 Winter Cherries. Of course, this goes well with the extra deck. 2 Spear Modes. 2 Inspector Borders, which is actually very, very good, this format. 1 Waking the Dragon. Excellent card. However, doesn't work against most of the decks in the format, but if you're able to get it off, it's a win condition automatically. 2 Red Boots. As you do know, we can also lose to the very same card that we play, which is evenly matched. And 1 Decree. Royal Decree turns out to be very good. You can always tribute it away, but 2 Red Boots and a Decree, a very good combo that I've noticed. And then I play 2 Anti-Spells. Now some of you might say, why don't you main these? It's not as good as you think to main, but it is good to have in the side deck. 1 Imperial Order. You got to be very careful playing this card, guys. You can lose to this card if you bring it out too early and don't have a win condition on board already. And 1 Raigeki. That's the side deck. Now we're going to go on to the extra deck. Some of the extra deck choices are for cherries. Some of the extra deck choices are, if you did see I was playing goats. And some of the extra deck choices are for Metaltron. So let's start off with the Metaltron choices. We have one of the most dangerous synchros, which is Crystal Wing. Totally awesome. This card wins so many games for me. This is the super heavy Samurai Steam King. If you notice, his defense is 48. You can actually attack through his defense, and it's a condition, not an effect, which is amazing. This card wins a lot of games. This is, I'm sure you guys know what this is, Naturia Exterio. This just negates spells, traps, and it's not once per turn, which is just amazing. And this card, the MVP, if you're playing against monsters, the last warrior from another planet. I love this card because, you know, what they have to do to get Metaltron off the field is sometimes they have to go into this card, which is, you know, Borlo Dragon, and they would sacrifice 3 of their monsters to crash into Metaltron. Metaltron, if you did it right, is unaffected by monsters, so Borlo can't take it, and then they would go to the graveyard, and this effect would happen where he can bring out an extra deck monster. Depends on what you're playing against. You're playing against spells, you want to bring that out. You're playing against beaters that you can't get over, you can bring that out. Totally awesome is if you want to negate once, and, you know, Crystal Wing if you want to negate monsters with levels. But if you bring out the last warrior, they can no longer special summon, they can no longer normal summon, they can set, but they can't flip summon. This is an amazing card. All right. Now bring out some of the choices that you can hit with cherries. Borlo, Ultrageist Hextia, Firewall Dragon. This is what you want to hit, guys. Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Cerebus, and of course you can actually make these. Also, you can make this one. You can actually make any of these because we do play goats. So this also, except for Ultrageist Exterior, you can actually make the rest if you need to as part of your extra deck ability. But then, of course, some of the easier ones to make is Decode Talker, underclock taker, 2 link spiders. Now I do need a Karibo. I don't have one at the moment, so that's why I'm playing 2 link spiders. And the Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon, which is definitely something you can bring out with the special trap card that I showed you earlier in our traps. This is actually the extra deck build that I have. That was a 15 card extra deck. Now, if you want to actually play the other version, which is a non-extra deck, here's some of the cards that you do need to play. Now, you can make the choice and see which version you want to play. But if you want to play the non-extra deck version, you definitely want to have in some extra firepower, beat sticks. So you want to put in 2 Ignis Heats. And you want to play this card, which is amazing. This card stops so many decks. This is a skill drain for tribute summon monsters, Monarchs Erupt. And this card is something you also want to play, which is the Spiritual Swords of Revealing Light. This is a continuous trap. And when this goes to the graveyard, when your opponent attacks directly, you can actually remove it and negate the attack. And you want to play 1 Domain of True Monarchs, which stops you from, you can side deck this card, but you can stop extra deck monsters from coming out, which is effective in all the meta right now. And some of the extra cards, you want to play an extra pot in Monarch Stormforth and 2 Desires. If you're playing the non-extra deck version, these are the cards that you want to put into your deck. And of course, you would take out the goats and definitely 2 of the Metaltrons and play just 1. You decide which you feel is better. But here is my deck profile, which my star card, Metaltron, the champion. You decide. You decide. These are my favorite cards that come out with the card. And it's very dangerous, guys. Very dangerous. Well, that's all for ScoopPhazeTV. Stay tuned and listen. Check out the website, ScoopPhaze.net, ScoopPhaze.com. This is your boy Kyle. It's your boy. You know, my boy Winston told me that is the way to announce yourself. It's your boy Kyle. Listen. Stay tuned for the next video. Hope to see you soon. Take care, everyone, and good luck in Nats. Peace.